Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video... Yeah, it's Florida again. Feels like it's been a while, my old friend. It's to West Palm Beach we're going. Well, really Palm Beach County. There, roughly a year ago, a man was having a series of, well, real bad days. And he thought, more were sneaking up on the horizon. Now, many people do, and at that time, did, but not like this dude. At the same time, Jupiter, not the planet resident, Gretchen Anthony, started sending some real weird text messages. So, let's give it a go. Palm Beach County sits to the southeast of Florida. And it seems to be, when you think of Florida, pretty much all that. White sandy beaches, palm trees, mansions, the whole 9 yards. And on the northern edge of Palm Beach County lies a little town named after the big planet. That's Jupiter. Jupiter is home to about 60,000 people, and it's rich with a capital R. Do the old clackety-clackety on Wikipedia, go to the list of notable people who lived or currently live there. If they're your neighbours, you're doing alright. One person who lived there was Gretchen Anthony, formerly Gretchen Crane. She was originally from West Long Branch, New Jersey, but was now a Floridian. Gretchen was a newly single mother. In 2020, she was 51 years old and just getting out of a 5-year marriage to a fella named David Anthony. Gretchen was raising her 12-year-old daughter with the help of her first husband, Jeff, and honestly, was doing alright. She was a former teacher, business manager for a fitness company, and now was a HR manager. She had a love of tattoos, of literature, but more than anything, her daughter was her world. She was looking forward, to the future. But as I said, this is early 2020, so I think we all have kind of like a collective PTSD from all that.
Last night, the Department of Health announced that there are 2 presumptive positive cases in the state of Florida.
The virus is now in every county in Florida.
It hit, and it hit hard. Gretchen was worried. Life would be different, and was posting about that too. But also, about the TV shows she caught up on, so, silver linings and all that. However, it was Gretchen's post on Facebook on the 19th of March 2020 that I want to draw your attention to. It's important. It's important because it was her last post. When chaos is all around you, the wisest choice is to create peace within you. Your peace shines outward and supports the creation of a new harmony. Someone read that, and I think took it to heart. So she posted that on the 19th of March 2020. It was a Thursday. A couple of days later, on the following Sunday, she texted her boss saying she was feeling a little bit unwell. March 2020, wonder what it could be. That weekend, Gretchen's daughter was with her dad, also in Jupiter, so she was alone. On the morning of the 23rd, Monday, she was a no-show at work. Gretchen's boss, name of Dawn, was who she had been texting on Sunday saying, she was feeling a little bit upset tummy or whatever. Dawn texted Gretchen. No response to that. At the end of the day, Dawn texted Gretchen again. No response again. The next day, however, she did get a from Gretchen's phone, and it was what Dawn feared. She got the COVID. Full blown. Tested positive for coronavirus early this morning. That's the bad news, but I'm at a CDC coronavirus treatment facility that only handles COVID cases. The good news is that my blood type has potential to be used in the cure. Not sure if you remember me saying that I have a strain of mad cow disease in my blood. Well, that strain is significant in gathering more answers to find a cure. For safety purposes, Dr. Sinclair and her team are strongly recommending that we maintain contact with immediate family members only. I'm using my mom. Wow, this is like The Last of Us or something. She's got the cure inside of her, Mad cow disease too, apparently. At the same time, Jeff, ex-husband, he also started getting texts from Gretchen's phone, mainly saying the same thing. She was sick, she was in some kind of facility, and she was going to have to be put in a medically induced coma. So if you're waiting for a reply, keep waiting. He thought the texts weird. He'd been married to her, remember? He knew how she wrote, and that's not how she wrote messages. Jeff then called the police, asked them to do a welfare check on her. The police also checked hospitals. There was no record of Gretchen being admitted anywhere. But what they did find, or rather Jeff did, snooping around, was her car in the Jupiter Medical Center car park. So where was she? So on the 26th of March, the police rocked up to the house and decided to see what they could see. And that's when a woman approached and told them that on Saturday, the 21st, the day before she texted saying she was sick, very early that morning, she heard screaming.
I heard a really serious woman scream, like, just screaming, like she was being attacked. And then I heard her scream, no. And then I heard something about it hurts, stop it. The scream was really serious. Another neighbor told the police he saw some kind of liquid leaking out of Gretchen's garage. So the police entered the house and smelled bleach. And it looked like someone had tried to clean up. No Gretchen, though. It looked like a struggle had occurred, broken glass, towels from a cleanup, cameras that had been installed within the home were without and gone. Not looking good. Someone had decided that the pandemic was a great cover for something. Now, the neighbor who heard the screams, they didn't call the police at the time, but what they did do was take a picture of a truck that was outside Gretchen's house. And it wasn't Gretchen's, it belonged to a man. A man formerly known as David Deutsch. Now, he went by David Anthony. Gretchen had met David after her divorce from first husband Jeff. Gretchen, bit of a fitness freak, met him at a local gym, Orange Theory Fitness in Stewart, where David was a personal trainer.
Our Orange Theory Fitness Nation and Orange Theory Fitness Stewart, Gretchen Anthony here, talking about Augie's Quest. We got ALS, big theme this week and the next week. Don't forget the 90-minute workout coming this Sunday. Pre-book that. There's only a couple spots remaining. You're not going to want to miss out on that 90-minute workout. So we set up some exceptional coaches across the nation doing a 1-minute all-out. And for each 1 minute, for each 50 meters of that 1 minute all, they've been donating $5. So that's what I'm going to do today. I got a 1 minute all out for Augie's Quest. For every 50 meters, I'm going to donate $5.
David was raised in Palm Beach, and he was a fairly quiet guy. He was big into fitness now, obviously. Maybe because when he was a kid, he was overweight, he was bullied, and had a low self-esteem. He suffered from depression. His family thought him bipolar, in fact. But instead of getting a diagnosis and medication, he'd lift his way out of this one. Exercise, working out, it's great for your mental health. It's not a cure-all though, but to David it was. After all, he enjoyed harvesting solar and physical energy. I think he's more ill than we feared. I don't even know what that means, but I think I've some of those yolks on my roof. And David, he was a winner. Because back in 2010, long before Gretchen, David had dated a woman named Heidi. They were absolutely head over heels in love with each other. It was great, right? And after dating for maybe a year, one day, after acting, a bit nervous, tense for about a week, David, he got down on one knee in front of Heidi. And then he told her he needed to surround himself with successful people, so we're over. Yeah, it's such a dickish thing to do. It's actually kind of funny. I need to surround myself with winners like me, so not you, babe. And he'd also previously tried to rob a Blockbuster with a water gun, and in the process he assaulted a cop. He got a squirt plea deal in both and had a brief stint in the lockup. And so when David became Gretchen's personal trainer at the gym, they hit it off. David, kind of a quiet guy, Gretchen the outgoing one, and they both loved the outdoors. They married in Las Vegas in 2015 after a very short engagement, and the first couple of years seemed happy. But David's mental health became worse and worse. They would separate for months at a time. Gretchen couldn't put up with him, and David didn't seem interested in getting help. In fact, to help him, you only needed to just pack up your shit and go, because David started to believe the end of the world was approaching. One day, he packed up his truck with a shitload of pots, shitload of pans, shitload of shoes, for some reason, and off he went, sheepishly returning about a day later. Gretchen became increasingly worried for her own safety. You know, she would lock herself in her bedroom, her separate bedroom, right? And she installed cameras throughout the house. She would watch him on the cameras, only leaving her bedroom when he had gone to bed. She had a knife under her pillow, she was so fearful. And going through his backpack around Christmas 2019, she found he had conveniently stored away her wallets, her purse, her cards, her license, her passport, all her stuff. So that was not a good sign, and she was out. In February 2020, she filed for a divorce. David went to live with his mother in Jupiter, and as he worked at a gym, people thought he was getting stranger. I mean, more so than usual. David had actually been fired from the gym back in 2017 for just his outbursts. He managed to finagle his way back in by doing the old, "Oh, I'm so sorry," but now somebody had pressed repeat. He was an excellent coach. He was well liked, but he could also be extremely aggressive, unstable, especially towards women. And David loved sports. Basketball, he was mad about it. His dog was named Kobe. And then, in January 2020, when Kobe Bryant sadly, died in that helicopter crash, David just spiraled further and further. He would just break down in the middle of the gym, bawling his eyes out. He was in bad shape, and his last day working at that gym was the 24th of February. He was batshit now, and to him, the world was ending. Here's a list of some weird shit he did. Well, one was he went on a wine and painting date with a girl he'd been seeing. He tried to feel her up in the middle of it. She, wasn't having it, obviously, so he started screaming at her in the middle of the thing. Then she drove him back to her place so he could pick up his truck where he'd parked. And she was like, we're kind of done here, you're not coming in. When she entered into her own apartment, she found he had already moved in. All his stuff was lying there, food in the fridge, his dog in the backyard. That's weird, she had to call the cops. Then he started roaring his head off outside Gretchen's place, to the point where she just had to finally just bring him inside for a few hours. And later on, he was seen down the street, very sweatily and creepily approaching teenage girls. The police then approached him. And this is what happened. Have a goo.
You okay?
Not really.
Can I get up?
No, get down!
I'm standing up.
Get-
My leg.
Turn around.
Get out! Now! Get out!
Get him. I got him at gunpoint.
Get out of the car!
All right.
What's he got? What's he got in his hand?
Drop it! Drop it! Whatever it is, drop it! Drop it! Stop resisting me! Sir! Flat on your face! Out like an airplane!
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. We're gonna stand up, all right?
Sorry, you guys scared me, that's all. I was scared you guys were gonna get, thought I was gonna run, so then I turned on, but he was hot, so I turned it back on.
Is that him? I got my
glove.
Bring your other hand back.
Okay, sir, yes. I'll do everything you say.
I'll do whatever you say.
I'll do whatever you say. I'll do whatever you say.
Oh man, he smacked my arm.
He's good.
I'm sorry.
I just grabbed him so hard because he was reaching for something. He's got a dog in the car.
Kobe seems so sweet. Poor dog. David was charged with resisting arrest, acting like an absolute nutbar. He spent a few days in jail, but after Tree bailed out and then Gretchen got COVID. So back now to the search for Gretchen. Well, remember Gretchen had installed cameras inside the house that were now gone. Presumably it'd be a good idea if you're going to do some killing to not have it on VCR. Well, the cameras are gone, but there's this magical thing called the cloud, where the footage was stored. While they got a warrant to secure that, the police went to see David at his mother's house, where he supposedly lived, but he was gone.
Jupiter Police. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Jupiter Police. Sorry to bother you.
Gretchen's been in touch with me because she's in the CDC center. She has the virus.
Okay, what CDC center is she at?
I don't know. She texted me this morning and said she was in there. I have the text. Would you like to see it?
I would love to, thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay. He had said he was going to Costa Rica.
He told his mother that he packed up and was shipping out, good boy in tow. At the same time, they got back footage from the hospital parking lot where Gretchen's car had been found, and it was David who parked it. So where now was he, and where was Gretchen? Well, he was 600 miles away in Pensacola, and he had Gretchen's phone with him. He had been driving along in his packed up truck with the dog, stopping off at pawn shops along the way, selling women's jewellery. Police were able to track him down due to phone signals, and they were booking it after him. His mother said he was going to Costa Rica, about maybe a week away by car, and he was ahead of the police by a few days. They eventually tracked him to Texas, where the police were like, anybody there, police departments, sheriff departments, be on the lookout. So when they sent that out, they were surprised when they received a call from David as he was driving away, and he told the police, "Here lads, don't worry about it, it's all good, I'm just driving away, all good. Gretchen's in fact with me. She's in the back of the car. She's too uncomfortable though to go on the phone, but trust me, she's here. So she doesn't want to talk, but she did give me a written statement though, that will explain what's going on here." David, over the phone, told the police that Gretchen was on the run. They were on the run together. And the COVID cover-up, they weren't on the run from the police, and the cover-up wasn't, to hide her situation from the police. No. She was on the run from something else. She had uncovered some, financial whoopities at her job. The electrician contractors goes all the way to the top. She was running. She was fearing for her life. Maybe there might be assassins after her or something. It also had something to do with Jeff. Apparently, he had it in for her too. It was a conspiracy. Big old conspiracy. When David's phone pinged in Las Cruces, New Mexico, home of the bowling alley massacre, the police pounced. With a description of his truck, they chased him down. And he had an answer as to where Gretchen was almost immediately.
Last I heard, she was in a CDC facility getting treatment for coronavirus.
However, what would you arrest him on? He was just a suspect, a big person of interest, but he didn't actually do anything provably wrong, so he walked. They just needed to prevent him from leaving the country. They waited until they got the footage from Gretchen's cameras, her indoor cameras, and they saw exactly what they were expecting to see. David, dressed in black, waiting to ambush Gretchen. She appeared, and he forced her inside. Recordings were also gathered from her Alexa, where she was heard screaming for help. David was then seen putting her body, well, presumably because he destroyed the cameras before he did, into the truck and heading off. Police then tracked David down walking the streets of Las Cruces and arrested him for murder.
Hey, David. Who are you? My name is Jared Kennerson. I'm a detective with the Jupiter Police Department. There's a warrant for your arrest, and I'm going to explain that when we get back to the... Excuse me? What? Homicide.
For who?
Who do you think?
That's why I asked the question.
We'll talk about it at the headquarters, okay? Okay. All right.
So after they hunted David down, they needed to know where Gretchen was, gosh darn it, excuse my language. This fucker gave an Oscar-worthy performance, same as before, and denied everything.
We have obtained a warrant for your arrest for murder. Okay. She's alive. She was traveling with me up into El Paso. We were driving separate vehicles, so she bolted. There was no
record of her being at any hospital for COVID-19.
Okay.
Zero record.
Doesn't mean anything.
You have her phone. You sent the text messages. You planted her car at Jupiter Medical Center because you're on video doing it.
We have all that information.
She had me do it.
You put your hand over her mouth and dragged her into the garage.
It's on video, David.
Still alive. Gretchen's still alive. You have to ask her.
We can't ask her. She's dead.
She's dead.
Wait.
You don't have video of me killing her.
How do you know what we have?
Show it to me.
Show
me the video.
Her dead body.
Show me the video.
Her dead body is right
Show
there.
me the video.
I know that it exists.
Okay, then
so
show it to me.
Because all you want.
And they tried everything. They even got Gretchen's daughter to record a message asking David to tell the police where she was. He said that's some bullshit, some fakery.
Raised the girl since she was 2 years old.
You are a monster.
That had nothing to do with it.
You are a monster.
You're not even doing your homework, man.
Monster for
do
what
your
you
homework,
did.
Jared.
You are a monster
Do
for
your
what
homework.
you did. And everybody's going to look at you like that.
This was on the 31st of March 2020, and it was going nowhere fast. He wasn't cracking. So they charged him with second-degree murder.
The man police say kidnapped and killed his wife in Jupiter before he was arrested in Mexico, or New Mexico, appeared in court today. Police are still searching for her body as new strange details are released.
It would be 8 months before they got somewhere. In December 2020, he would eventually be charged with kidnapping, and second-degree murder would become first-degree murder. So David was sweating.
This morning, a court hearing was conducted for David Anthony, and a plea was agreed upon in exchange for the information regarding the whereabouts of the remains of Gretchen Anthony.
Prosecutors and police here in Jupiter made it very clear they made this plea deal for Gretchen Anthony's family. They say they very much wanted a life sentence for David Anthony, but finding Gretchen's body was more important.
He reached a plea deal with the police and finally led them to Gretchen's body. She was located a couple of miles from her home, on a grassy patch behind a Walmart. She was finally put to rest. What had happened was that David had stabbed her to death. David pled guilty to second-degree murder, and in January 2021, he was sentenced to 38 years in prison.
You are a monster. You don't deserve to have a life. You are pathetic and not worthy of happiness. You are pure evil. You stole a mother away from her child. What happened to Gretchen is truly horrific and has left us with deep sadness.
And violation saw the COVID pandemic as an end-of-the-world prophecy, an Armageddon that I felt compelled to escape no matter the cost. When action becomes detached from consequences, that's when madness occurs.
David thought the world was literally ending. And so in turn, his world literally ended. It was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. He was paranoid. He needed, mental health treatment, but instead, he did something horrific for, seemingly no reason whatsoever. And then tried to cover it up by using a global pandemic. And he did so very poorly. I just hope Kobe is okay. He was adopted by new owners, so that's good. I hope that good boy's happy. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you taking the time. Here, go on. I'll see you as always real soon in the next video. Till then, please look after yourselves. Mike out.